Hello and welcome. This is the Market Wrap. I am Agam Vakil. Well, today was a day where we saw subdued closing as far as the benchmarks are concerned. Even though we did see a lot of weakness through the course of the day, we eventually saw a little bit of recovery come through. Well, at least as far as today is concerned, when it comes to the benchmarks, what we saw was it in terms of losers and gainers. Shree Cement was right at the top of the gainers list. We had gains in Maruti Suzuki, Nestle, and ICICI Bank. Britannia wasn't too far behind. But as you can see, the top five gainers from the NSE were from varied sectors. On the losing end, we had weakness in BPCL, Indian Oil Corp. So OMC is under a tad bit of pressure, and some weakness in Sun Pharma along with Power Grid. But how has it been when it comes to the broader markets? And that is where, if you just look at the advanced decline ratio, we're looking at two gainers for three losers on the NSE 500. Uh, Not the most of encouraging signs, but Bharat Dynamics advancing, Imami up and about, Mishra Dhatu Nigam also doing well. We have a bunch of Jindal Steel companies which have also been doing well. IDBI Bank advancing. And on the losing end, we have Omax, which is locked in a lower 20% circuit for the second straight day. Some weakness in Engineers India, Solar India, as well as IFB Agro, along with Trent. Trent is actually under quite a bit of pressure of late over the past few days. So we'll be watching out for that one too. But that's as far as your markets are concerned. Let's get in our markets editor Niraj Shah for his thoughts on how he is reading into today's trade. Niraj, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Agam. And I think it's playing as per script. And why you would ask me is because we've seen that amongst all the expectations of the lockdown opening up, we actually have had the lockdown getting extended right across key spaces, and which is why the points that you mentioned about trend, Inox, leisure, etc., all of them coming off. I think simple reason they would earn when these lockdowns are up and about, and they're not. So you have these lockdowns being on, and therefore that should be negative. The future retail, I suspect, is a different story altogether. But what I thought really stood out for me today in terms of trade, one, ahead of the monthly sales numbers, companies like Maruti, companies like Eicher Motors, etc., did very well on the benchmark indices. You had Maruti putting in some stupendous numbers in the session. A lot of people are now talking about how the diesel petrol parity or diesel being more expensive in certain pockets all augurs well for the largely or totally petrol dominated portfolio of Maruti. So that is one thing. I thought what was interesting though that the tractor companies didn't react too much. M&M was subdued today. Escorts just about 0.5% in the morning. I thought really that tractor companies would see some buying, and they saw some buying, but it was hardly anything. Really, one would have thought that companies like Escorts, etc., would do really well, but no, they didn't. They didn't quite do as well. So that was the other thing. What cemented the gains today was cement, and I think these stocks keep on coming on the blue and just moving up in tandem every single time. So today, actually, we had all the large cap, mid cap, small cap doing well. So Shree Cement, you already mentioned that having a 3% gain. Birla Corp had a pretty decent outing. India Cements was up about 5%. So a lot of these names had a very, very good outing in the session. The question remains whether there will be some more upsides to this, whether there could be these could just be small trading moves that last. So that's one. But yeah, Agam, lastly, I mean, future retail is an interesting one, isn't it? Now that almost every publication worth its salt has reported that Reliance Industries is buying, it's now had uh, 2 days of a downward move, which actually doesn't augur too well for this one.
Oh, yes, of course. And it's not just Future Retail's Future Group. Over the last 5 years that I've been tracking has been going through so much restructuring time and again. This perhaps may be one less aspect for Kishore Biani to keep into should he be selling stake in this one. But Neeraj, thank you so much for that perspective
Thanks,
there
Agam.
when it comes to the very stocks and sectors that we need to watch out for. First, cement was the other key sector that we will be keeping an eye on. But before we conclude, let me very quickly take you through what we are looking at when it comes to the futures and options space. And again, we have seen some consolidation come through. We are looking at a little more writing around the 10,000 put. And that remains. Consolidation is what we are seeing, along with a little more writing in the 10,000 put and the 11,000 call, even though the 11,500 calls have been extremely active at this point in time. And that's, of course, always a positive, considering that's further out there, and which means that at least some traders in the market are not ruling out 11,000. But it's a wait and watch on that one. Perhaps maybe the premiums at that point in time were a little more lucrative in order to sell. But we'll be keeping an eye on that one as well. But for now, we are closing with muted moves as far as benchmarks are concerned, and we'll be keeping an eye on how things pan out. On that note, it's a wrap on the markets, but there's lots more lined up. Stay tuned to Bloomberg.